Got a 2013 GMC Sierra, and as I understand, the Chevys and Yukons and Denali's and stuff, these door panels here are all the same on the SLT package, where the plastic handle up in here breaks all out, and when you go to pull your door, it's just flopping around there. And over here I have the handle part, and this is broken in half. I'm working on getting this fixed first. Just gonna put that together, and I made this little aluminum piece here that I'm gonna take and put in place. I'm gonna take and put a pop rivet there and there, and I'm gonna put some epoxy under all of it when I pop rivet together. And I think I'm going to take another piece and put from side to side there to try and strengthen that up. So when I put that back in, and then I'll have to make a metal piece that goes across here to reinforce it, and then I'll make some kind of plate to tie it in back there. I'll show you once I get farther along here. Okay, I got these aluminum pieces in here. I got this piece right here goes across, and then there's it goes up in the middle there, and I got it pop riveted and epoxied. And then I got a piece that runs long ways here, pop riveted, and then a piece that ties and is bent over there into that. And I got some other epoxy sitting up here. I'm going to sand that down when it's dry, so hopefully it'll be strong enough to stay together here. So I'll work on the other part over here on the door now. I have to make a metal brace up here. I'll show you what that looks like when I start working on that. Okay, now what I'm doing, I got the handle part here that I fixed earlier just sitting in there, and I got this piece of steel angle iron. It's about 3/4 of an inch angle iron, and it's 12.5 inches long. For what I'm doing here, there was a plastic one of those melted pins that this white stuff went over and connected into, so that broke off. So I'm going to take and drill a hole in here and run a bolt through that to fasten that to this plastic here. And there's another one that's right here, but I'm afraid if I break that out so I can put a bolt in there, that this part here isn't going to have any strength. So there's enough room where I can just run it up underneath of there and leave it sit there. So I got that done, and I'll probably end up either using some kind of epoxy or something, or I might run a screw or two through this metal into there to hold that. But now I'm going to work on connecting that piece to back here, so when you pull on it, it's all tight. So I got a piece of flat bar here I'm going to run through there and drill holes there, and the other one where it bolts to the door in the truck, so it'll all be connected. So now I just need to cut a piece from down in here, the bar that I just showed you, to up in here to tie it all together. I'm going to weld a piece there to do that, and I'll show you here when I'm done with it. Okay, I got my metal pieces made up here. Got that piece of angle iron going across there, and I decided to weld that bolt on there so I didn't have nothing sticking up. So that's all on there. I'll flip it over here, and then you can see the bars connecting from the lower piece to this upper piece that I made, and I got those welded on, and then I got bolt holes drilled in there, so when you bolt this back to the door in the truck, it'll all be connected. So now I just got to take and fasten all this down. I might try and figure out something to fasten this plastic inner handle to this metal here, and then get all of this trim put back in place here, and we'll see how this turns out. Okay, I'll kind of show you what I got here. I got the that metal piece all put in place, and the rubber, I just took some of this squeezable caulking and put that all up in there to fill the gap along there, and then pressed that all down, and then forced that edge back down in there. And then on the top side here, I took some plastic emblem adhesive and put on there and back in this corner, and then I just wrapped it up with some tape to keep the trim where it needs to be while this caulking and adhesive all sets up. So hopefully once it all dries and sets up, this rubber handle part there will all stick to it, and it should look pretty good. It's not going to be, like brand new, but it's better than spending $500 on the door panel. And this here will be really strong, and hopefully this handle will never break out of there again with this being all metal, as long as this plastic trim and stuff doesn't break anymore. And hopefully, like I said, this caulking and adhesive holds this handle in place there, so this trim doesn't pop out and look like crap. So that's how I did it, and I'm sure there's easier ways. Some people did videos where you used bolts and bolt stuff together. That'd probably be a little bit easier than the way I did, welding everything together. It was kind of hard getting that bracket put down in there with those tabs and all already welded on it. There wasn't very much room, but I figured doing that way, there's nothing to ever come loose. The bolts ain't ever going to come loose, and there's no bolt heads sticking up, poking out through this plastic trim there. So hopefully this works for me, and that's just how I did it. So maybe that'll give you an idea of the way to do it yourself.